Hey, everybody. We were having technical difficulties. My phone would not connect to Zoom. So, with that being said, I want to thank you all for being here, both in person and online. Tonight's talk is going to be about the laser that we're integrating, the brain-based laser. Why we're doing this is we've had a lot of people ask, what does it do? How does it work? Why would I need it? Why would I not need it? What can it help me with? And we're going to cover all of these things. So if you have a friend or family member in the future who goes, well, my doc does brain-based laser, you can refer to this video and it will make your life a lot easier because you'll have all the answers right there. We also have a new website that the illustrious Brooke made for us. It covers a lot of information, explains in detail what we do here. We have not had that explanation before, so you'll really like it. It's really in depth. You can go into the Q&A, covers a lot of stuff that most people aren't even aware that we cover here. So you can get in more detail with that. We do go over how we're different. The neurofeedback is different, how the adjustments are different, how the Funk Med ties in, how the Funk Neuro ties in, and how the laser will tie in. So all of those things, it's to make it easy for everybody to see what we do is different. You are not going to find this somewhere else, but now you understand why it's different, why we see the changes as quickly as we do. So with that being said, my goal is for you guys to learn a bunch here. And in actually making this talk, I learned something that was really, really cool that I didn't even know myself. And that's going to be about a thing called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And we'll get to it closer to the end. So first off, we're going to talk about the laser. And when we're looking at the laser, there are two distinct frequencies that we have it set at. And the two distinct frequencies both reflect or indicate different parts of the body that they can be used for. So one is called red, and it's going to be at a frequency of 637 nanometers. And then the other one is infrared, and it's going to be at 808 nanometers. Now, what I want you to understand is these frequencies actually have been clinically proven and research proven to change a very specific part of how your body works. And that part is the mitochondria. So the mitochondria make energy, and I'm going to get into that more, but that's the very important part. Is this laser's specific job is to give you more energy wherever we put it. So what would happen if we put it on your knee? You get more energy on your knee. Your foot, more energy on your foot. Your brain, more energy in your brain. And I'm saying that specific because the evolution of what happened was I was coming into places where we were getting stonewalled, where we're not getting the results as quickly as we'd want. So we know we're training you correctly with the neurofeedback. We know your inflammation is down because of the nutraceuticals or the supplements or the functional med that we're doing. We know that we have your blood sugars under control. We know that we have your oxygen in a right level. We know your cortisol is good, but why are we still not getting the results? And it's literally because the tissue can be in a state of fatigue. That means neurons can literally be in a state of fatigue. To understand this, we need to understand that cells don't just live or die. There's an in-between. There's kind of a gray area, and I like to call them zombie cells. And what that means is these cells, they can be any tissue in your body, but the nerves are really important. They can be in a state where they're sick, where they won't do their job, but not sick enough where they'll die. And so when we put energy in, the energy will actually cause the cell to start working correctly. And when it works correctly, now it has enough energy that it can do, excuse me, one of two things. It can either heal itself or cause itself to die. And then it means it starts working correctly. So what leads to us aging, specifically in the brain, is cells that are not able to heal themselves, cells that are not able to actually get back to normal. So what are the things that actually cause us to not be able to heal ourselves. One of the big things is oxidative stress or chronic stress, and we've all heard of free radicals. That's just an overproduction of oxidative stress. The other thing that we can use to mitigate that, to try to stop the free radicals, is food. So we can give you things like curcumin or resveratrol or omega-3s to try to take or scrounge away those free radicals. But what I found, and what has really, really been interesting, is the laser can actually help us speed up the healing process. Not small amounts, but great drastic amounts. The reason why I got into this is because I wanted to see what can we do to push the brain to respond quicker. And what we found is when you use the laser, it actually makes the mitochondria make more ATP. In simplistic terms, it means wherever we use the laser, you make more energy and you heal quicker. Now, there's more things that happen, and I'll get into that, but that's the simple answer. What does it do? It makes you heal quicker wherever we put it. So if you have, say, a bone bruise that won't go away and it keeps hurting, we laser it, it will heal quicker. If you have a brain injury, it will heal quicker. That's one of the main reasons I got it, was to help people with brain injuries and people with ADD, ADHD, neurodevelopmental issues. So that's the big perspective of what we're looking at. Now, what we're going to look into is we're going to see that each one of these frequencies has a specific reason for being used. So the smaller frequency, the red, the 637 nanometer, it will penetrate 1 to 3 centimeters. So you're like, I don't know centimeters. Okay. It's 0.39 to 1.18 inches. So it's not that deep. What is it used for? It's specifically used for skin, peripheral nerves. That means nerves on the outside that are within an inch of your skin, and surface tissues. So you can use it for fat, you can use it for muscles that are superficial, you can use it for cuts and burns and different things like that. And that is one of the things you can actually use it for, is to speed up healing of cuts and burns and tissue being hurt, because what will happen is you'll produce more energy and the tissue can actually reproduce quicker, and that's what healing is. The other one, though, the 808, that's the real big kahuna. That's the one that can actually penetrate into the brain tissue. It can penetrate in soft tissue, the 88, which means basically fat, muscle, cartilage, ligament. It can go between 1 to 2 inches or 3 to 5 centimeters. In bone, it can penetrate 1.97 inches. So that means it can literally go into your skull and stimulate the tissue. And they did this by actually using the lasers and measuring it receptor on how deep it would go through an actual skull of a cow. And it would penetrate literally through it. So what do we use the 808 for? Brain injuries, joint, muscle, bone injuries. So that's like TBIs, head injuries, joint pain, short, long-term, different things like that, because it goes deeper. It goes twice as deep. The key to all of this is to understand that it will help you make more energy. That's the ultimate goal. Now, what can we use the laser on? What kind of people, and what can we not use it on? So we can use the laser, and these are things that people would think you can't use it on, but it's actually perfectly fine. We can use it on people with nerve stimulators, people with pacemakers, people with prostheses, people with thyroid gland issues, organ issues, as well as anybody with a head or a brain issue. It's actually been researched specifically for brain injury. And what happens with brain injury, and why it's so important to understand this, is with a brain injury, when one neuron dies, it will actually tell all the nerves that it connects to die. It's a systemic spreading, and that's why you get these huge kill-offs of the nerves. With the laser, it will actually stop that. It will allow only that one nerve that has been damaged to die and stop the kill-off. So that's really important. That's why I was really interested in it. Who can we not use it on? pregnant mommies, specific areas where the cancer is. So if you have cancer right here, I can't use it where your cancer is. I can use it everywhere else, but not where your cancer is. And these other two are interesting. Immunosuppressant drugs, we can't use it on you, and we can't use it on you if you have photosensitive drugs. So some drugs will actually make you more prone to burn. So if you're taking a drug and you're like, you have to always wear sunscreen because you're more prone to burn, we can't use it on you. So with that being said, what is the actual activation that makes you make more tissue or more energy? And the term of the laser is actually called photobiomodulation. So if you want to geek out and use your ChatGPT or your different AI bots or go on PubMed, it's called photobiomodulation. Another way to look it up is called low-level laser. And if you look up the frequencies, you'll see a plethora of research talking about using it with brain injury people to increase their recovery, using it for ADD, ADHD to help with recovery, using it for Alzheimer's, dementia to help with recovery. There are literally lists of things. Those are the big three that I like helping people with. So I talk about them right now. So what are we actually stimulating with the laser or the photobiomodulation? We're stimulating a rate-limiting enzyme. What that means in simple terms is the less of this enzyme works, the less energy you get. The rate-limiting enzyme in the mitochondria or the powerhouse or the energy part of the cell is called cytochrome C oxidase. So that's literally the name. So if you want to geek out and you go photobiomodulation, cytochrome C oxidase, what actually happens, you're going to be able to see a bunch of the stuff that I'm talking about. So what it does is it increases the amount of oxygen the mitochondria uses. Oxygen and food make energy in the mitochondria. That's literally how it works. So it increases the oxygen consumption, which then speeds up the amount of ATP production or energy your cells use or cells make. That means wherever there's more energy, you can heal yourself. The limiting factor when you're damaged is how quickly you can get energy there. So that's why if you have blood flow cut off to an area or there's not as much blood in that area, like say the disc in your low back or a cartilage or a ligament, the limiting step is how much oxygen you can get in. But if we literally stimulate it to make it so that enzyme works quicker, then it can pull in oxygen quicker and create more energy and heal quicker. If you haven't heard of this, there's things called hyperbaric chambers. And they use this to help people with TBIs or recovery for exercise. And that's trying to push up the oxygen. That's nice, but if your mitochondria are damaged, it doesn't matter. You're wasting time and energy. So what we can do, and with the laser, it actually fixes the mitochondria. And this is the other really, really cool thing. It makes more. So when you stimulate the nerve that has been damaged or the muscle that has been damaged, it makes more powerhouses to make more energy. That's phenomenal. That means wherever we put in the energy, put in the laser, you will actually heal better there for the rest of your life. Now, this can co-manage with a supplement that we have called coenzyme Q10 Supermax, because as we age, mitochondrial content actually decreases. By the time you're at your age of 50, your mitochondrial content has been cut in half. This is why when you're 18, you have a ton more energy than when you're 50, 60, 70, 80. But what did I just tell you? If we use laser, you make more mitochondria in that area. If you use CoQ10 Supermax, you can actually boost the speed at which the mitochondria can actually make energy as well. So we can double hit it. We can actually push up the speed at which you can heal. So what does the increased cytochrome C oxidase, basically ATP, do? Increases tissue healing. Increases nerve regeneration and function. That means the nerves can actually regenerate themselves even though they're damaged. This was a limiting factor for me. So people were damaged from head injuries or chemical trauma or severe emotional trauma causing increased cortisol, we couldn't actually get the nerve to reboot if it was too damaged. Now we laser it, we upregulate the amount of mitochondria, and you can actually heal that tissue. This is one that some people like to know. We can use it to reduce scarring and tissue formation in the form of scar. So AKA, you're going to have a surgery. You don't want it to scar bad. You actually laser over right after the surgery, and it will decrease the scarring there. It also increases blood flow to the area that's being lasered, so more energy, as well as cell growth. So it'll make the cells proliferate or reproduce quicker, which means that you heal quicker. Now, this is where I really started geeking out, because this got really cool. I didn't know it did this. So remember how I talked about brain-derived neurotrophic factor? So let's think about this. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor will increase mitochondrial function, more energy. This was interesting. I didn't realize this. It will actually increase neurogenesis. So if you stimulate the body the right way, it can actually make new connections. We know the adjustment will do that, but it will actually make more of them. It will increase lymphatic drainage and circulation. So the lymph system is a part of the system that moves all the viruses and bacteria and bad stuff and damaged tissue out, so your liver and your kidneys will process it and you'll get rid of the junk, the garbage. And it will decrease inflammation, help people with autoimmune diseases and post-viral syndrome heal quicker. That's brain-derived nerve growth factor. Now, the way we can stimulate it here, one of them is that photobiomodulation, which means laser. But I'll give you some other ways to do it. Cold exposure. So we've all heard about the dunk tanks. This is one of the things that we'll do. Fasting, learning, aerobic exercise. And the other two that I use here is curcumin, or Tumero is the product that we sell, or omega-3s. These are all ways to increase brain-derived neurotrophic factor. What that means is your brain gets healthier and stronger and works better. So what does the brain-derived neurotrophic factor do? Increase brain health, increase plasticity, increase resilience. But the really cool thing that they showed is, with this brain-derived neurotrophic factor, it especially affects the hippocampus. If you don't know what that is, that's where memory happens. So literally, the laser is cardinal picked. It's like perfectly picked to help people with Alzheimer and dementia issues. So what we do is we want to stimulate them with the adjustment to get the connections going, increase blood flow, but then we can literally take the laser and put it right over the temporal lobe, so it'll go into the hippocampus, and it upregulates the connection. It increases long-term memory. It increases synapse forming. So that means more connectivity, more ideas, more thoughts can come up. And it especially affects the hippocampus to make more memories so that you can actually keep the memories you have. So if you are somebody who says, I don't want to get Alzheimer's, I want to protect myself from getting dementia, I don't want to have these issues show up later on in life, this is a tool that we have for optimal brain aging. Is we can literally laser over your short-term, long-term memory regions, increase that BDNF, that brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and literally make your brain work better. Put in more mitochondria by stimulating it, and your brain literally starts healing. Cool. Yeah. So that's one of the major factors that we use it for. Now, I know I talked a lot about Alzheimer's. TBIs we talk about. So that's traumatic brain injuries, concussions, head injuries. Whenever you hit your brain, you will actually turn on a thing called the glial cells, which basically cause inflammation to happen. When we use the laser, it will actually shrink that cell back to normal, and you will stop neuroinflammation from happening. This is a new tool in my tool chest. Before I knew intermittent fasting could do it, I knew that short chain fatty acids or vegetables can do it. But we have another one that's more passive, where you literally just sit there and get lasered, and it will also help you do it. If you're somebody who has digestive issues, we can actually laser over the digestive tract and give the digestive system, aka the large and small intestine, the liver, the stomach, wherever the issue is, more energy, therefore it can heal quicker. The other reason that I did get this product is to help people with anxiety, depression, ADD, and different factors like this. We have chronically been taking care of people in the back of their brain, the O1 training, where the subconscious, the self-medicating behavior, and issues like that show up. And what we have found is that if we laser you and we can get full saturation of the brain tissue in literally 30 seconds, we will see 100 to 200% improvement during that training session. So your brain has more energy in that specific region. Now it can train, now it can learn to actually function correctly. For the children or people who are stuck in chronic stress, you may have seen or may have experienced, we take the laser and we put it through the nose or on the nose, and it actually lasers the brainstem, and it will actually turn the inflammation off in the fight or flight response. That means you are pulled out of fight or flight. The inflammation in the brainstem decreases. We do not want neurodegeneration to happen there, because then autonomic functions, breathing, digestion, basic movement functions, having your body work correctly, they will start falling apart. So this is a way for us to actually slow down the degeneration. An example is, we have a young man who's come in, severe ADD when he started, running around, emotional dysregulation, and so forth. And by taking care of him with adjustments, the laser, and neuro, we've literally watched him go from a 10 out of 10 to a 1, where this child does not need to run around, fidget, now can make friends quite easily. And this is a big change for him, because he's literally gone through 3 schools because he was so bad, his ADD was so bad, and he couldn't regulate himself. So what we've done is, we, through knowing what parts of the brain to train for him, cerebellar, frontal lobe, brainstem, and so forth, we've lasered that area, given it more energy, trained it with neurofeedback, set it up with the adjustment, and now we watch him literally thriving, being that person that his mom and dad always knew he could be, but now he's producing. He's at that stage where we can actually communicate with him, and now he's relatively close to a normal kid. When they're young, they still have a ton of energy. That's never going to go away. But his regulation ability, because we've actually lasered the brainstem, has calmed down. This is a game changer. This is one of the major reasons I got it. I got it mainly for TBIs and for people who were having emotional stability issues. So as you can see, we use it to literally give you more energy in the region and make your body heal. Can we use it for other things like pains or aches or viral infections or immune system drivers, or to calm you down? Yes, you name it, and we can use it for it. But the big kahunas where they hit is when we get into that brain region, because it's really hard to stimulate the brain directly and get the inflammation out of there. And when we do this, we literally see miracles happen. So my hope and my prayer is that from listening to this talk, you understand the laser is more than just a gimmick. It's literally a way to change your life. And if you haven't experienced it, please ask. We give everybody a free trial, where we usually give them a brainstem stabilization and then an occipital lobe. And within 5 minutes, you will literally feel yourself calm down. It pulls you right out of stress. So if you'd like to experience that, please ask the staff or myself, and we can definitely take care of that. The other thing I want you to be aware of is our Patient Appreciation Week is coming up. It's the week of the 23rd, 24th, 25th, and then the day where we have the prizes and the food and the drink. That's on the 26th. So if anybody comes to mind about something I was talking about tonight, where you say, well, I have a friend who has something that could help them with, that is the day, or that is the week, where they can get the exam at a discounted rate. We do it for $20. That's for us giving back to our clients, our family, so that they can help people close to them have a no-brainer. It's literally cheaper for you to come in and a huge diagnostic exam than going to most fast food restaurants. So it's literally a no-brainer. And I'm doing this to help you help your friends and family members. So think of that one person, not everybody, just one person right now. Who is it? And we have times available. You can call the staff and they can take care of you and let you know what times we do have available. I will let you know we are filling up. We've just put the board up today and we've already had 2 spots taken. So come in, take advantage of that, take care of your friends and family, and try the laser if you want to see even quicker responses to help everything work in conjunction. It works really well with the adjustment and the neuro, because when we put the laser on, it speeds up the speed at which the neuro can actually integrate, because the cells, the brain doesn't actually fatigue as quickly. It has more energy. So I want to thank you and have a blessed night.